can no longer be the manufacturing capital of the world. Where the hell is that written? We are the greatest manufacturing city, county in the world, state in the world, city in the world. We're going to remain that way.
This is my video update on this Tuesday afternoon, September the 3rd. Let's talk about some news, and let's start things off with a big Russian missile strike into Ukraine, into Poltava. And from what I understand, it's weird, a shirt tied to this fence. Okay. From what I understand, this was an Iskander missile that hit a Ukraine military training facility in Poltava. Zelensky came out with a statement after the missile strike, and I believe that Zelensky said that 46 people had been killed, I believe he said in his statement, or 46 casualties in this missile strike in Poltava, hitting this Ukraine military training facility. This looks like it was a big hit on the part of the Russian military. It looks like they got a significant target because Zelensky and the Ukraine government wasted no time condemning this strike on this training center, but they were visibly rattled by this hit. So it looks like the Russian military hit a significant target in Poltava. I don't know. That's how it looks, but we'll probably get more information probably tomorrow. The Russian Ministry of Defense, I don't think they've issued a statement at the time of this recording. Maybe they have, but that's what I know about this big missile strike in Poltava, Ukraine. And we also got, before I started recording this video, news that the Biden White House, according to Reuters, they are very close to agreeing to deliver JASSM long-range missiles to Ukraine. I believe these missiles, according to Reuters, they have a range, or they're going to have a range of 370 kilometers, I want to say. And the Biden White House said that they're finalizing the details for the delivery of these long-range missiles, cruise missiles, from what I understand. These JASSM. I actually talked about this in a video a couple of weeks ago, so this should come as no surprise, to be quite honest. We kind of knew about this missile delivery, but it now looks like the U.S. government, the Biden White House, is very close to finalizing the details, getting everything ready to deliver these missiles. And it's going to take, according to Reuters, it's going to take 2 months to get everything in order. And then these long-range missiles will be delivered to Ukraine. Let me see if I have any other details to add. Long-range cruise missiles, they will be included in the next aid package to Ukraine, or the fall aid package that will be announced for Ukraine. They will include these missiles, a range of 370 kilometers and a payload of 450 kg. Currently, the integration of these missiles is underway, and permission to use missiles on the territory of Russia is also being considered. So that is the news that came in right before recording this video. In 2 months' time is what Reuters is saying, Ukraine will have these long-range missiles. September, October. End of October is when they're going to have these JASSMs. Just in time to get Ukraine over the November 4th election hump, right? That's what they're doing here. They want to give whatever they can to Ukraine to try and prevent a collapse before the actual November 4th election. So the Biden White House was saying the other day when Yermak and Umerov, the defense minister, were in D.C., they were saying that the ATACMS, what they're looking to hit, the targets that Ukraine brought to the Biden White House, what they were looking to target was out of the range of ATACMS, and that either way, the U.S., they don't have the ATACMS missiles to spare. And that was what they were telling Yermak and Umerov. And a day later, we get this report leaked to Reuters about the JASSMs being greenlit to go to Ukraine in 2 months' time with the military package that will be announced in the fall. It seems to me that the Biden White House, Jake Sullivan, Blinken, Austin, all of these guys that are not going to be in the next administration, whether it's a Harris administration or a Trump administration. Remember, Harris has said that if she were to become president, God help us, she would not have all of these guys in her administration. Blinken and Sullivan, she would get a new administration, a new team in place. And obviously, if Trump wins, well, yeah, they're not going to be in Trump's administration. But it seems to me that all of these guys are just kind of trying to find a way to. They know that Ukraine is lost. They understand that Ukraine has lost. They want to dump Project Ukraine on the Europeans. That's also obvious. But they're just trying to find a way to prevent the collapse until after the elections. That's what they're trying to do. So the blame doesn't fall on them. That's the last thing that someone like Sullivan or Blinken would want to have happen, right? Or Austin. A Ukraine collapse when they're still the defense minister or the secretary of state or something like that. Let's get Ukraine past November, preferably past December and January when we're long gone and we have a well-paying job at some DC think tank, and then let the Europeans deal with Project Ukraine, let the next administration deal with Project Ukraine, and we're out of here, and it can't be blamed on us. This is a dangerous escalation. It is a dangerous escalation, but my sense of it is that the Russians know about this. They knew this was coming. And just like they handled the ATACMS were not very successful. They did not do well. They will handle these JASSMs. That's my sense of things, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong about everything that's taking place. Who knows? Maybe these JASSMs will manage to hit some targets deep inside of Russia, and that will just lead to the further destruction of Ukraine, which I guess for Blinken, Sullivan, Austin, and all of these guys, what do they care, right? Once again, if they're long gone out of the picture, for them, they've washed their hands of the whole Ukraine fiasco. Leave it to the Trump administration. Leave it to the Harris administration. They're going to be working for the Atlantic Council or the Institute for the Study of War, or whatever. So that is the update that came in. Two significant updates that came in right before I started recording this video. And we have Russian President Vladimir Putin in Mongolia. His 2-day visit to Mongolia started, and he has invited Mongolia to the BRICS summit, which will be taking place in October in Kazan, Russia. So Mongolia got an invite to the BRICS summit. Algeria actually got invited to the BRICS Development Bank, which is the financial arm of BRICS. They're now going to be part of the BRICS Development Bank, which is a huge deal if you are Algeria. Big news if you're Algeria. You are one step closer to full BRICS membership. And remember, Algeria, they provide a lot of gas to the European Union. And now they are one step closer to being part of BRICS. Big news. Big news with Algeria entering the BRICS Development Bank, and Mongolia is going to be at the BRICS Summit. Turkey, they are applying to enter BRICS, and they're also going to be in Kazan for the BRICS event. Now, BRICS has said that no country can enter BRICS if they're part of this whole sanctions thing, right? If they're imposing sanctions on other countries and they're part of the sanctions game, then there is zero chance of that country entering BRICS. BRICS has never said anything. Let me know in the comments down below if I'm wrong about this. I don't think BRICS has ever said anything connected to BRICS membership and NATO. They've said stuff about sanctions. I know Russian officials have said, if you are sanctioning other countries, you have zero chance of entering BRICS. I know Russia has said that. I don't think any BRICS country has said anything about being a part of NATO and not being able to enter BRICS. So Turkey wants into BRICS. Why not? Why not? That would be pretty earth-shattering, wouldn't it? A NATO member, one of the most powerful NATO militaries, also a part of BRICS. Man, that would be something. Let me see what Algeria said about entering the BRICS New Development Bank. This is what Algeria said. Algeria joining this important development institution, which is considered the financial arm of the BRICS, is a major step in the path of integration into the global financial system. The path into the global financial system. The global financial system outside of the USD. And I read a report this morning saying that India is now considering bank settlements, payments outside of SWIFT with Russia. They are now seriously considering working with Russian banks and settling transactions with Russia's SWIFT alternative. Another big blow to SWIFT and to the U.S. dollar system. SWIFT will not be able to monitor and track the transactions between India and Russia because they are out of SWIFT. And whose bright idea was it to kick Russia out of SWIFT? Oh, I know. It was Professor Biden in the Biden White House. So that news also came in today. Back to Putin in Mongolia. The Soros-funded Human Rights Watch, they are calling on Mongolia to arrest Putin. That is what they are saying. The Human Rights Watch issued a statement saying that no one is above the law. And that is why Mongolia, who is signed up to the ICC, the Rome Statute, they must arrest Putin as he is visiting their country. Because no one, according to Human Rights Watch, which has received something like 50 million or 100 million in funding from Soros, no one is above the law, according to Human Rights Watch. Except Biden and Hunter Biden and Netanyahu and Ursula. And Soros, maybe, I don't know. All of these people are above the law, right? Clinton, they're all above the law. But if they don't like you, well, then you're not above the law. If they like you, if you're part of the club, yeah, you're above the law. If you're not part of the club, you're not above the law. They love that phrase, don't they? No one is above the law. I think they really took to that phrase during the 2016, was it the 2016 election between Clinton and Trump? Or was it the 2020 election between Biden and Trump? They really started to like that phrase. No one is above the law. No one is above the law, which is projection. It's basically them saying we're above the law. We are above the law. But if you don't do as we say, well, then you're not above the law. Anyway, that's what Human Rights Watch said in a statement. And Ukraine came out with a statement. And Ukraine is telling Mongolia they have to arrest Putin, according to the ICC rules. And if they don't arrest Putin, there will be serious consequences for Mongolia. Actually, Ukraine said they're going to consult with their partners, and there are going to be serious consequences for Mongolia, which is it's a pretty sad statement, isn't it? Ukraine is basically saying we're going to run to mommy and daddy, and we're going to complain about Putin visiting Mongolia, right? That's basically what they're saying. Oh man, let me see if I have Ukraine's actual threat. Here we go. After Putin touched down smoothly in Mongolia, Ukrainian Foreign Ministry spokesman Georgy Tikhi took to social media to complain the Mongolian government's failure to carry out the binding ICC arrest warrant for Putin is a heavy blow to the ICC and the international criminal justice system, he wrote on X. Mongolia allowed the indicted criminal to escape justice, thereby sharing responsibility for his war crimes. We will work with partners to ensure that this has consequences for Ulaanbaatar, he added. The ICC could formally condemn Mongolia for failing to enforce the warrant. However, it lacks the authority to impose fines, sanctions, or any other penalties. It also lacks any mechanism of enforcing its own warrants, relying on member states to choose whether to obey them. In other words, they can't do anything to Mongolia. They can't do anything to Mongolia. Zero, zilch, nada, nichevo. They can't touch Mongolia for not enforcing the ICC rules. But the Ukraine's going to run to their partners, and they're going to think of the consequences that Mongolia is going to have to face. Dmitry Medvedev, he posted on X that basically Mongolia told the collective West to get lost. That is what Medvedev said. Mongolia told them, buzz off. We don't care about your ICC warrants. We want Putin to visit. We want to make some deals. We want to make some money. We want to do some business. We want to talk BRICS. We want to talk Russia, China, One Belt, One Road, energy, pipelines. Take your warrant and get lost. That is basically what Medvedev said. So that's the news of Putin in Mongolia. Zelensky, Budanov, Zaluzhny's above the law, right? The man that the Wall Street Journal claims blew up the Nord Stream pipeline. He's above the law. That's what the Wall Street Journal says, not me. Not me. That is what the WSJ says. That's what the BBC wrote about 6 months ago. He's above the law. He's ambassador to the UK. But hey, Putin is not above the law. Oh, man. So what else should we talk about? How about Germany? News out of Germany. The AfD, they are telling Scholz it's time to resign because Scholz got smacked down, demolished, crushed his party in the elections on Sunday, in Thuringia and in Saxony. Scholz's SPD got 6%, 5 or 6% of the vote, which is peanuts. Nothing. The Greens got pretty much 0 or 1 or 2%. They're not going to be even represented in the regional governments of these areas. And the AfD is saying it's time for Scholz to step down and it's time to call federal elections. Given the results of the European Parliament elections, where Scholz got demolished, and now these latest results, it's time for Scholz to call it quits. That is what the AfD said in a statement. And things are not getting any better for Scholz, for the pirate Scholz. The ship is sinking, matey. Pirate Scholz. And Germany's Volkswagen, Volkswagen. Boy, oh boy, they announced that they could be shutting down in Germany. From the Financial Times, VW considers closing factories in Germany and cutting jobs. Savings programs launched last year has fallen short by several billions of euros of group's flagship brand. So basically, Volkswagen is going to be closing factories, which would be the first closures in Germany during VW's 87-year history. In 87 years, they haven't closed a factory in Germany. and it looks like they are going to be closing a factory in Germany. Germany's competitiveness as a business location is declining. VW is struggling with higher logistics, energy, and labor costs. VW employs about 650,000 workers globally, with nearly 300,000 in Germany. The last time VW closed a major car factory was over 30 years ago in the US. Volkswagen also said that they may try to end its 3-decade-old pact with workers that guarantees job security. Yeah, the unions, the workers, they are furious with this announcement. Absolutely furious with what Volkswagen is planning to do. Volkswagen is going to want money from Scholz in order to keep the factories open, in order to continue to operate in Germany. They're going to want a lot of money from the pirate. Problem is, I don't think the pirate has that money. He's got to send it to Zelensky. He's got to give that money to Zelensky. So what's he going to tell VW? Unbelievable, huh? Unbelievable. All the analysis that I've read about VW and this announcement, which is huge news, everyone's talking about it. They talk about the higher costs of doing business in Germany. They talk about the competitiveness, especially from China, Chinese manufacturers, EVs, and Volkswagen. They just can't make it anymore. They can't compete. The cost is too high. Supply chains are effed up. Logistics effed up. China's become the car manufacturer that they're trying to compete with. I saw it firsthand when I was in Russia, in Moscow. In 3 years' time, Russia switched from German cars to Chinese cars, and everything was running like normal. Everyone was very happy. No one was complaining about the Chinese cars. About 50% of all the cars on the roads in Moscow that I saw were Chinese cars. All the taxis and the Yandex taxis, which is the Uber of Moscow, of Russia, they were all using Chinese cars, and they were happy. They were fine with it. So I mean, I saw the transition firsthand. I mean, it was there in front of my eyes. I couldn't believe it. In just 3 years, they completely transitioned away from German cars and right to Chinese cars, and everyone was happy. Anyway, all the analysis was talking about how it's just too difficult for Volkswagen now. It's too expensive. If there was only a way, let me think now. Hey guys, we need to think about this. We need to save Volkswagen. Let's think about this. If there was only a way for Germany, if there was only a way for Germany and Volkswagen, for the Scholz government, to find a source somewhere nearby, preferably somewhere very close, a source that could provide cheap energy and cheap resources. If only there was a country that made a lot of very cheap, reliable energy, gas, oil resources that Germany could tap into, preferably maybe through like a pipeline or a couple of pipelines. If only they had that, then maybe, just maybe, they could solve this problem of doing business. I can't think of a country that has all of this. That's right next to Germany. I can't think of a country. Can you guys think of a country? I can't think of a single one. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they're just going to continue to get LNG from the United States, which is super duper expensive. By the way, Welt is reporting that Russia is now the number 2 gas supplier to the European Union. I think Norway's number 1, Russia's number 2, and now the United States is number 3. And the gas that's coming from Russia, it has been reduced to where it was before from where it was before the Ukraine conflict, but the gas that is coming to the European Union is coming via LNG and pipeline. The pipelines are running through Ukraine, through Belarus, and also Turkstream. And EU countries are signing all kinds of deals with Erdogan and with Turkstream to get the Russian gas, always more expensive than coming directly from Russia. But number 2 now, Russia, ahead of the United States in supplying gas to the European Union, the article actually said that Greece has increased its gas supplies from Russia by 4x, I believe is what the article said. Man, they really screwed everything up, didn't they? The European Union. I mean, they really screwed everything up. So Sikorski, the man who tweeted "Thank you USA" 5 minutes after Nord Stream blew up, Sikorski, and then he got promoted to being foreign minister of Poland. He is saying that Poland should be shooting down Russian drones and missiles over Ukraine, but close to Poland's territory, close to the border, still in Ukraine airspace, but close to Poland. Poland should have the right to shoot down Russian missiles and drones. Sikorski's in a panic because he's super pro man in the green T-shirt or man in the black T-shirt, whatever Zelensky is wearing nowadays. Super pro Zelensky, super pro Ukraine. He despises Russia. Sikorski absolutely despises Russia, and he was in the Maidan in 2014. He was part of the team that was in Maidan in 2014 with John McCain and the coup in Ukraine. So this has been a project of Sikorski's for over a decade, right? And he's panicking now because he sees his project just completely crumbling. And now he's calling on Poland to begin shooting Russian missiles and Russian drones that are not over Polish airspace, but that are in Ukraine. And NATO, NATO told Sikorski to zip it. That's what NATO told him. NATO sent a letter out. They put out a statement, and they said, "Look, you're a sovereign country, Poland. You're sovereign." Or NATO. They didn't say Poland specifically, but that's who they were talking to. And they were saying, "Look, NATO members are sovereign, and we understand that they have to protect their airspace and their territory, but don't do it. Don't shoot down missiles that aren't over your airspace." Because then we're a party to this conflict, and we could be at war with Russia, and we don't want to make it look like we're a party to this conflict, and we don't want to make it look like we're at war with Russia. We don't want to escalate in that type of manner. They'll just leave it to Ukraine. They'll allow Ukraine to continue to be their proxy, but they don't want anything more than that. So NATO told Sikorski to zip it up. That is what they told him. And finally, before we get to our clown world, let's talk about Trump and his interview to Fox News, where Trump basically said that the United States has been demilitarized because of Project Ukraine. That is what Trump said. He said the U.S. is vulnerable. He said when he was president, U.S. weapon stockpiles were low. He built them up. And then Biden became president, and Project Ukraine emptied them out. And now the U.S. is dangerously low on weapons and artillery and whatever, ATACMS, and the U.S. is vulnerable, according to Trump. That's what he told Fox News. Of course, Trump is always, he's embellishing it a lot. He's dramatizing it as Trump always does, but he's kind of right. He's kind of right that the U.S. is, I don't know about vulnerable, but they're definitely low. We know that from the ATACMS. They don't really have ATACMS to give to Ukraine. They're sending these JASSMs. But the U.S., they can't make the artillery. They can't keep up with Russia on the artillery side of things. ATACMS are running low. Patriots are nowhere to be found to give to Ukraine. Going back to Poltava and this missile strike in Poltava, where were the air defenses? Nowhere. I've been saying this for a couple of days now. Ukraine has no air defense. It's either in Kiev or it's locked up in Kursk. And so the Russians are able to hit these training facilities, and Zelensky and Ukraine is panicking because they're completely exposed. But, the U.S. and the collective West, they don't really have patriots to spare. So that's what Trump told Fox News. And let's do some clown worlds, and we will wrap this video up. The first clown world is that the United States, they seized what they're calling Maduro's plane. Maduro's plane. It's Maduro's plane. It seems like this plane was was the property of the Venezuelan government or the office of the Venezuelan president. And they seized this plane as it was in the Dominican Republic. They're stealing this plane. Not the first time that the U.S. has stolen a plane from Venezuela. They stole a plane from Venezuela, I believe, a year ago, maybe. And they also stole Venezuela's gold, didn't they? That's what the UK, isn't it? So it's not the first time they've stolen from Venezuela. It won't be the last. But they're saying this is Maduro's plane. That's why they're all excited about it, because they're running with the headline that this is Maduro's plane, and Maduro has flown on this plane in the past, and this is the United States punishing Maduro, really sticking it to Maduro. Yeah, this is the second Venezuelan jet to be seized by the U.S. this year. In February, Argentina sent the U.S. a Boeing 747-300M cargo plane confiscated. Yeah, okay, so they seized that plane this year, and then you have the $2 billion worth of Venezuelan bank accounts and assets that the U.S. has stolen, the gold that has been seized. They've stolen that as well. According to CNN, to a Washington official, quote, seizing the foreign head of state's plane is unheard of for criminal matters. We're sending a clear message here that no one is above the law. No one is above the reach of U.S. sanctions. An unnamed Washington official told CNN, which first reported the story on Monday, no one is above the law. Maduro is not above the law. Budanov above the law. Ursula above the law. Borrell above the law. Netanyahu above the law, but Maduro not above the law. They're saying that this is linked to the charges against Maduro, I think he has narcotics trafficking charges that the U.S. has placed on him. Remember the Wall Street Journal? They talked about it working out a deal with Maduro, the Biden White House. According to the Wall Street Journal, the Biden White House has denied this. But like 3-4 weeks ago, the Wall Street Journal said that the Biden White House, they offered Maduro a deal if he steps down as president of Venezuela and hands things over to the Juan Guaido number 2. I even forgot their name, Gonzalez and Maria Corina. If he hands it over to them, Venezuela, and he steps down as president, they'll drop the narcotics charges. That was the deal that the Wall Street Journal said the Biden White House was working out. The Biden White House has denied that deal. But now they're seizing Maduro's plane, a plane that Maduro flew on a couple of times. That's how I understand it. I think the plane is worth something like $13 million, something like that. It's the jet is a Dassault Falcon 900EX that they seized. And Maduro was often on board this plane. So that's the one clown world. And the final clown world will go to Elon Musk and Giorgia Meloni. It looks like Musk will hand the Global Citizenship Award to Italian Prime Minister Meloni during her upcoming visit to New York. The Global Citizenship Award, a globalist award. Meloni's going to get a globalist award from Elon Musk. Meloni should get the Global Disappointment Award. That's what I would give Meloni. the Global Award as a big dud, a big disappointment as Prime Minister. She said she was going to do a whole lot of things, and she folded very quickly to the globalist line. That's the award that Meloni should get. Anyway, that's the video, everybody. TheDuran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, Telegram, and Rockfin. And go to the Duran shop. Pick up some merch, like the t-shirt that I am wearing today. The link is in the description box down below. Take care.